Alright guys, good to see you, good to see you. So, in today's video, we're going to be talking about why you need a business plan. Now, when setting up a business, a very important and fundamental part is writing out a business plan. Okay, it's very, very crucial, but for some reason, this is something that's often overlooked, and in some cases, okay, some individuals might even skip it out altogether because they think it's not relevant or it's not important or it's just not worth the effort. But in this video, I'll be explaining exactly why you need a business plan and why it's essential and in your best interest to write one up. Okay, so let's dive straight into it. Now, regardless of who you are, you might be looking to start a business for the very first time. Okay, this might be the first time you're setting up a business and you might be looking to start a small business. On the other hand, you might be a seasoned entrepreneur looking to take on your next venture. Regardless of which end of the spectrum you're on, writing out a business plan is very, very important. And there are four major reasons why you need a business plan and why you should take the effort and the time to write one. Okay, so let's look at those reasons right now. Okay, so the first reason why you need a business plan is for effective planning. Now, there's a lot of information on the internet about writing a business plan. There are guides, okay, templates, a lot of information about how to write a business plan. The purpose of this video isn't to tell you how to write a business plan. There's so much information out there. However, one of the first reasons, okay, one of the main reasons why you need a business plan is to help you set up and plan your business effectively. When you go through the effort of writing out the business plan, okay, putting down your ideas on paper, or nowadays most people would do it electronically, but going through the effort of writing out a business plan forces you to think about all the details and intricacies of your business. Okay, you are going to have to define what your business is. So what is your business about? What products and services do you offer? What do you have that makes you unique? So what's your unique selling point? And how will you differentiate yourself from other people, your competitors? In your business plan, you're going to have to talk about things such as how you plan to advertise and market your business. All right. What legal structure will you choose? Will you be a sole trader? Are you going to set up a limited company? Will you be a business partnership? All those things have to be taken into consideration and put into your business plan. Your business plan will also include key goals and milestones, such as where you would like to be in 5 years, your financial projections, okay? You might say to yourself, I want to get this business to 6 figures within 2 years. All that information should be in your business plan. Okay, so your business plan is basically an outline of how you plan to set up and structure your business. It takes time and effort to write out a business plan. However, it's been shown that people who put in the time and the effort to write out a business plan will usually set up their businesses more efficiently. Okay, and that's what you want. You want to be able to set up your business as efficiently as possible. Speaking of being efficient, setting up a business is hard work. All right, there are a lot of moving parts and things that you need to consider. That's not even to mention the fact that most businesses, even with all that, most businesses still fail. Okay, so your chances of failure is even higher if you haven't planned your business effectively. So that just brings us back to why you need to write out a business plan. Okay, so that's the first reason you need a business plan, to help you plan your business more effectively or efficiently. Now, the second reason why you need or why you might need a business plan is to secure funding. Now, there are various ways to fund a business and get it off the ground. For some very small businesses, you might be able to use your own funds. So as the founder or the owner, you might be able to use your own money or your own savings to get your business off the ground. However, there are some businesses that require a large amount of capital to get them started. For instance, if you're thinking of launching a major startup or a business that involves heavy manufacturing, okay, if you need a lot of money to get the business started, there's a very high chance that you might not be able to fund this business yourself. And in that case, you will have to procure external funding. Okay. Now, external funding would typically be from one of two sources. Okay. Either you'll seek out a bank loan, so a business loan from the bank, or you'll get funding from an investor. If you go to the bank and ask them to give you a business loan, they are going to require you to produce a business plan. Okay, that's going to be mandatory. You won't even be eligible for a business loan if you cannot produce a business plan. And that business plan needs to be of high quality. Okay, it's a no-brainer. If you want to get a bank loan for your business, you need a business plan. That's non-negotiable. On the other hand, if you meet an external investor, say for instance, you want to get venture capital funding, often referred to as VC funding, or even if you want to get like angel investors to support you, okay, these investors are going to require that you bring out a business plan. And if you can't produce a business plan, a high quality business plan, they aren't even going to listen to you. The business plan tells people what your business is about, and it showcases how you plan on starting your business, funding it, scaling it in the future, etc. So everything that you've planned out for your business, everything that you envisage, everything that you envision for your business is within that business plan. So if you can't produce a business plan, those investors, they're not even going to listen to you. And that's just the reality. This doesn't apply to all businesses, okay? But if you are thinking of starting a business that requires external funding, or which might require external funding, then you will definitely need a business plan. And that's something that's non-negotiable, okay? You don't get to decide. If you want somebody else to fund your business, if you want an investor to fund your business, then you must be able to produce a business plan to convince them that your business is worth investing in. So that's the second reason why you need a business plan, to secure external funding. Now, the third reason why you need a business plan, and this might seem a bit obvious, but I'm going to include it, okay? The third reason you need a business plan is that it provides a reference for later on. Your business plan is a blueprint or a roadmap of your business. Okay, it's going to contain details of what your business involves, what your business is about, the products or services that you offer, how you're going to market your business, how you fund the business and get it off the ground. Everything that you've projected for the future, all that information will be in the business plan, including the legal structure that you've chosen to set it up. All right, all that information will be locked inside your business plan. Your business plan should also contain important goals and milestones that you want to achieve later on. So let's say, for instance, you started your business 3 years ago, and now you want to remind yourself of something that you actually planned initially, but you've forgotten, you can't remember it. But since you listened to my advice, and you've written out a business plan, you can now go back to your business plan and remind yourself of those things, okay? Whatever it is. That could be, for instance, how you plan to scale a business in the future, okay? Or anything else, okay? If you want to remind yourself anything related to your business plan will have the answers. If you took the time and effort to write a business plan and you put in all the important details, okay, the business plan provides you with something that you can look back on and reference in the future. And that's another reason why it's really, really important and a good idea to write out a business plan. If you're living your life and you're busy doing things, you can tell yourself that I'll remember it all, and that's fine. You might be able to remember it for a while, but guess what? people often will forget. Okay? So if you put it in your business plan, you can always go back and look at it later on. So that's the third reason why you need a business plan. Simply gives you something to reference and look back on later on. Now, the fourth and last reason why you need a business plan is that it's simply good practice. Now, good practice can actually be broken down into two parts. The first part is the fact that writing a business plan is simply good practice in terms of starting a business, entrepreneurship. Okay, so if you write out a business plan, you are conforming to best practices when starting a business, which is to write out some form of a business plan, even if it's not terribly detailed. If you lay out a business plan, then you are kind of conforming to best practices. The second part is the fact that, and this one is actually quite interesting. You see, if you write out a business plan, say for instance, this is the first time you're launching a business. If you put in the time and the effort to write out a business plan, the skills that you've learned along the way, okay, those aren't going to go to waste. In the future, at some point along your entrepreneurial journey, if you decide to launch another business, okay, say for instance, you have a wonderful idea and you decide to take on a new business venture. Okay, when you start this new business, you will have to go through that process of planning the business, writing out a business plan. Now, since you already wrote a business plan earlier, okay, it should now be a lot more straightforward to write out another business plan. Okay, since you wrote a business plan in the past, it should be easier for you to do the same thing again for your next business. So writing out a business plan is simply good practice because it sets you up well for the future should you have to do it ever again. Okay, and if you plan on becoming an entrepreneur, there's a good chance that you will take on another business venture. And in that case, it's a good idea that you practice writing out the business plan in the past, so that when you launch another even more serious business, even bigger, better, more serious, competitive and fierce business, you'll be well prepared and well armed to write out a solid business plan. You'll be well prepared and well armed to write out a solid business plan. Why? Because you already practiced doing that in the past. All right. So guys, those are 4 reasons why it's in your best interest to write out a business plan. So let's have a quick recap. The first reason is that it helps you to plan your business more efficiently. Second reason is that you need it to secure external funding. Third reason is that it gives you something to look back on in the future. And the fourth and last reason, what we just discussed, is that it's simply good practice. So guys, if you found this useful, do consider subscribing for more. Give this video a like and feel free to share it with anybody else who might find it useful. Thank you very much.